Well, I was just, what I sent the salary scale out is so that you guys could kind of play with it. And, because it does it automatically, so you can put in all sorts of different numbers that you want to do.
Yes.
And then I sent out my 3 ideas and what it would end up costing. And then this starts the
I have a question. When you do these, who set this up? If someone hires in on a track A, they got 6 steps and they're at the top of their scale.
And then they go off into COLA, which is cost of living adjustment.
It's just 1%. That's what that is. Okay. Because I'm thinking, well, if they max out on track,
Oh, he's calling you.
we'll talk about it later.
Okay, I'll call the meeting to order. Are we doing roll call still?
Probably should.
Okay. Karen, if you can.
Roll call, Allison Burton. Here. Verna Deckridge. Here. Carla Dillon.
Here.
Georgia Jarman. Here. Ron McMullen.
Here.
Tyler. Here. Guy Walker.
Here.
Walter.
Here.
Okay.
All right. Do we have any public comments?
At this time, there are no public comments that I'm seeing.
No public comments, okay. Moving on to the consent agenda. Any discussion on any of those items?
I move we accept the consent agenda.
Motion by Ron McMullen to accept the consent agenda. Is there a second?
A second.
Second by Fern Deatherage. All in favor?
I'm.
We have to do a roll call.
Oh, that's right.
Sorry.
Get used to this back.
All right, for Deckridge.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Georgia Jarman.
Yes.
Allison Burton.
Yes.
Judy Walter.
Yes.
Carla Dillon.
Yes.
Ron McMullen.
Yes.
And Guy Walker.
Yes. Okay, unfinished business. We have a need for 2 Lafayette County board members. Have we received any applications? Lafayette.
In everyone's folder, you should have stapled together 3 recent board applications. I believe the last one is from Lafayette County. The other 2 are from Johnson County.
Well, can I say something?
Yeah.
Well, Lafayette County, I know it's a 1 here, but I have 3 or 4 people that talk to me. I thought I'd get them applications. And so I probably need to get some application. I did have some myself, but I couldn't find them. I got 3 or 4 people one from Odessa, not this one, but another from Odessa, one from Concordia, and a couple from other places, one from Wellington, and things. So I'm going to get those and look at those. They're all very nice people too. So I just assume we wait till we get see if they'll go ahead and continue to act like they would be willing to get on the board.
Could we act on the Johnson County vacancies?
We do have 2 applications for Johnson County. Are there any other known ones that we're going to be turning one in? Actually, the Johnson County would fall under new business, so bring that up again under new business. Do we have any possibilities for the foundation board?
I have not heard anything about foundation board.
Okay. Okay, so let's talk about further lifting restrictions in the branches and the offices. I
Sure.
assume that's what this orange paper is?
Yes.
Okay.
So everyone should have an orange sheet, two-sided. The first side is some questions that were brought to me. So I wanted everybody to read through those, kind of, things to think about. I met with all of the branch managers this morning at our regular Wednesday morning meeting and asked them what were their feelings on lifting the restrictions. And so their responses are on the back side of what they're ready to do, and then a couple of things they're not ready to do as far as lifting the restriction. As far as wearing masks or not wearing masks, staff are on both sides of the fence. We have some staff that are very germ aware and they want to continue everybody wearing masks. We have others that feel like we're past the point of needing masks or socially distancing, and so they're ready to give it up. So, I guess discussion.
Well, I think we should quit requiring them to wear them.
Oh, quit requiring staff to wear a mask. Right.
Honestly, the two ladies that work in the library are the only ones in Waverly that have masks, and I have had for a month.
Right.
They don't wear a mask at the store, they don't wear a mask at the bank, they don't wear a mask anywhere else.
Okay. But that's just in Waverly, right?
That's all I know about.
Okay.
I called Mid-Continent today to see how they were handling it. And what they were doing at Mid-Continent is, it's up to the staff member if they want to wear it, but if they're not vaccinated, they're still required to wear it. So if they want to wear it, they can. If they're unvaccinated, they're still required.
Do they make staff prove they're vaccinated?
I didn't get into that. I just,
Well, it's easy enough to prove because they give everybody a call.
Right. But then there's that tricky part of, should we be asking? Oh,
well, I would say if a person doesn't want to wear a mask, they should be pretty readily available to show that they have it. That's my thought.
I think if they're unvaccinated, that's on them. They're gonna be the ones that get sick. If you're vaccinated, you shouldn't have to worry about people who aren't vaccinated.
Well, you haven't been vaccinated, you don't wear a mask and you get sick, you may cause some other people to get sick. I don't think if you haven't been vaccinated at this point, you may still need to wear a mask. If you've been vaccinated, fine. If you haven't been, I would almost think you probably should wear it, but that's, I don't care.
I think vaccines have been out there long enough that if somebody wanted to be vaccinated, they would have.
Yeah.
If they're that worried about a mask, then they should have went and got vaccinated. That's.
I would say that I'm looking at this more from the standpoint of the people that are wearing a mask might have been vaccinated, most likely have been vaccinated. I'm looking at this from the standpoint of a person that refuses to get vaccinated and doesn't want to wear a mask.
They're not going to tell you that they haven't been vaccinated, probably.
People shouldn't drink and drive too, but we don't check to make sure that they're sober before they get behind the wheel. You know.
Well, I don't see that the library is that much different from all the other businesses.
Yeah. Especially as we sit here in this largest one we have, so.
What are the prevailing rules in your communities? What are your city government and counties saying?
Everything's wide open,
Yeah,
except
it's
for
all been
medical
listed.
facilities.
It's all been lifted.
Well, if the city, a lot of cities now have dropped it. You don't have to wear them. And to me, if they dropped it, you don't have to wear them, we shouldn't be required.
Right.
But there's some places, I know, in most of where I live, in other towns, they're still requiring masks. So then, but that's not our library. Just some other areas are still requiring masks to be worn. But no, I'm just saying Lexington, the mayor thing has dropped that. But some people still wear it.
Right.
We went to Culver's last Saturday night and the employees there still wear them.
Usually if the employees are within close distance of you, they're still wearing them. We've got all of this fenced off for our employees.
I think if they felt uncomfortable, they could surely put on a mask.
Certainly could.
I'm not going to tell them not to.
Yes, they can wear them if they like.
But I don't. We're a library. We're not in charge of public health. And if our state and our city and our counties have lifted it, then I don't understand why we're still enforcing it.
Exactly.
Somebody wants to make a motion.
I think everything should be lifted.
We do have a lot of patrons that would like to use our meeting rooms again. And that's where our quarantined materials are at and our furniture is at. But the branch managers I talked to, and they said that their staff also feel this way, that they will be fine with stop quarantining. And I've also talked to administrative staff, technical services people who handle every book. Stop quarantining materials, it's fine. They're fine about putting out non-cloth furniture. Vinyl cloth is fine. They're not comfortable yet with putting out cloth furniture. We kind of like to replace cloth furniture eventually because you can't clean it as well. And then once those two things are done, open up the meeting rooms, study rooms to groups once the quarantine materials and furniture is out. They'd like to have magazines and newspapers brought back. Currently, all of those have been suspended, so we can unsuspend them. They're ready to bring back children's puzzles because those are easy to clean, and allow children to use in-house video games because the controllers are easy to clean. And then we started talking about bringing back indoor programming, story times, book clubs, all of that.
Outside, yeah.
And so then became a discussion of, because we've got people on both sides of the fence, do we limit the number who come in to story times so that they can socially distance? Are we going to have children wear masks since children under the age of 12 cannot get vaccinated yet? Let's see, what was the other question that was sent to me?
As far as I know, all schools, Ms. Holden, all schools are projecting starting school with no mask.
We're having summer school at Holden right now, and we still have sneeze guards, and we still have some social distancing measures, but we have eliminated having to wear masks for our children.
For the children?
And faculty and staff have the option of wearing a mask if they wish to.
But I know Concordia has dropped their mask mandate, and I know Odessa has.
I think masks are now recommended as opposed to required. I think it's the terminology I see the most, recommended. But
So-
not required.
I also have a question. When you're talking about cloth, are you talking about like seats like these doing away with them because these have cloth seats?
They do have cloth seats. I'm not sure what we're talking about is the furniture that is
Like
out
the
all the
couches
time.
and the chairs?
Mhm. We have a growing issue with patrons who come into the branches and want to spend a long time, and they themselves are not clean. And so they're leaving.
I understand.
Anyway, and that's why they like that vinyl cloth, because that's very easy to clean. When we were having bed bug problems, it was the cloth furniture that we were having the most problem with, because again, the vinyl, the leather, those were very easy to clean, sanitize.
Because I know Holden, all the chairs that are like this were donated.
Yeah.
And I would not like to see them be done away with.
The really nice wingback chairs are book club really likes them.
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna get them.
But
Someday we'd like to have them back.
Well, and we could get new ones, because those were when the branch very first opened. So they have been sat in by many, many, many people over many, many, many years, as
Mhm.
you well know.
Sure.
And so they're probably due for a replacement anyway. But they are, comfortable. That the one thing that, or the two things the branch manager stated they're not quite ready to do is to bring back the stuffed toys and puppets, and to bring back the adult puzzles, because those little pieces of an adult puzzle are so hard to clean. And so they're like, can we wait on that? But we're ready to let all this other in. So that's just branch staff.
How much,
There's a lot to think about.
how much cloth furniture do we have?
We had actually, since we've had the bed bug issue a couple of years back, we have started trying to switch over. And as we had money in furniture, we were replacing chairs and love seats with that vinyl cloth. And Holden, I think, still has some cloth furniture. And who else has cloth furniture? They're probably the biggest ones. We're gonna have to get them furniture to replace that.
Well, let's replace the furniture on, as you said, the not so clean patrons that come in and use it and have left stains. Let's replace those, get those out, and not bother to put those out, just get rid of them. But put out those that are in fairly good condition.
Right.
Put out the furniture, period. And as far as the cloth puppets and that type of thing, I'd say 3 months and we don't have to disinfect those either. What do the rest of you think?
I think we should do the things that the staff has asked to do.
They're,
And still handle up the things that they've asked to.
And as far as children are concerned, I'm having a hard time visualizing 3 and 4-year-olds at story time. Number one, staying away from each other, and number two, wearing a mask. And so I would think that for their protection, we might encourage masks for them. And I say that just because of proximity, just because we're elbow to elbow and they're not a protected group.
I would add that my experience in the store during the height of the rage of the pandemic, little kids were the most loyal mask wearers. You didn't.
They liked it, didn't
didn't
they?
they have properly adjusted, they didn't complain. So I don't think they would be inconvenienced by continuing to do it.
I think you have a good point, and I also think that there are a lot of families where little ones haven't worn masks. So, but anyway, I think that could happen very easily, in particular if we had a box of children's size disposable masks as they come in.
Also, if we could use some social distancing there, I think would be better than,
For kids.
Yeah.
they're gonna be families.
What we could do is limit the number of children in the story time room. Say we limit it to 10, where we're normally getting 30, but offer that exact same story time 2 more times. So there's a total of 3 10s as opposed to 1 30.
I like that idea.
Now, after I've said that, branch managers are pulling out the Anita Love voodoo doll and filling it full of paint. So we don't care.
I think these children have parents.
Yes.
And I think it's up to the parents if their child wears a mask or not, what they're comfortable with. Once again, we're trying to police the public and we're not in public. I mean, I know we serve the public, but our goal is not public health. I feel like if we have too many rules, we got this rule for this person and this rule for that person, and these people have to wear masks, but these people don't. If these people stay 6 feet, you've got so many rules, it's going to be hard to know what to do when you come in. So
I think if mask wearing for adults is a personal decision, it gives you every option to consider. And I do think that there are a number of parents who would bring their little ones in if they knew that mask wearing was appropriate. I know that mask wearing is not going on at my granddaughter's preschool. I know that. But it's a very controlled environment. We're not as controlled as some places.
Some kids that come to the library are out on playgrounds, they're in pools, they're in things at school, and they're exposed other places. So
I think that comes to a parent's decision. They're not comfortable with their child being there with 10 other kids, then they're not going to come. Like I said, if you get too many rules going on, it's too hard to follow.
Allison, do you have little children?
I do not. And my 3 great-grandchildren that are the most likely, they go to the playground all the time. And on every playground in town, and those children have never had shots of any kind.
Is it one thing to be at a playground and another thing to be in a small room with a bunch of other kids?
Well, and that's where we say, it's, if we could do some social distancing,
don't wear them at church.
you know, leave it up to the parents.
I'm just going to throw a motion out there and we can turn it down if we want to instead of, I move that we approve the requests or the things that the branch managers have asked for us to allow them to do. That mask wearing in each branch is determined by individuals, whether they wish to wear a mask or not. And that in our story times with little children, we make request that masks be worn, but we can't enforce that. So that's my motion.
Okay. So you're gonna have to say it slowly so that I can write this down.
I think we should break it out. I think we should break it out.
Okay. I move that we honor the wishes of our staff except for mask wearing.
Second.
There are different ways.
What'd you say, Judy?
I said there are different
Yeah.
levels there too. I mean, it's not going to be black or white, whether they like it or not. Like Harlan said, we need to break it down to individually
No, I mean, I meant to take masks.
Do it separately and not just say whatever they want.
Okay, all right, well, I will get that list for you.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, did you get it? It's true. Yes, what's gonna happen is I will get the specifics of the list from Anita tomorrow to put in the minutes.
I appreciate that.
All right, so she's made.
And she-
Per second.
Wait a second.
Okay, so the motion is,
The motion is.
The motion, go ahead.
The motion is to.
With the branch-
Branch managers except for mask wearing.
And it's this, that, what was referred to as the back, those first.
so where does children come into that?
We'll talk,
We're gonna talk about
we're
that.
going to talk about children and adult mask wearing. Is that okay?
Okay, so I have to take roll, right? Vern Deatherage. Dee Tyler,
Yes.
Georgia Jarman,
Yes.
Allison Burton.
Yes.
Judy Walter,
Yes.
Harlan Dillon,
Yes.
Ron McMullen,
Yes.
and Scotty Walker. Okay. 8 yeas, no, 7 yeas, 0 nays.
I make another motion now that we allow staff to determine on their own whether to wear a mask or not.
I'll second
Staff on their own, or on that?
No, at their discretion.
At their
If they
discretion.
want to or not.
Vern Deatherage,
it. Yes.
Dee Tyler,
Yes.
yes, Georgia Jarman,
Yes.
Allison Burton,
Yes.
Judy Walter,
Yes.
Harlan Dillon,
Yes.
Ron McMullen,
Yes.
Scotty Walker.
Yes.
And the first thing I'm gonna hear is, when does that start?
Tomorrow.
January 1st.
Okay.
Okay, so,
So everyone is okay if I send out an email to staff that says it is up to your discretion whether to wear a mask or face shield?
We'll do that tomorrow.
And what area is she
Tomorrow?
in? Huh?
Effective
you're 8 of you?
There are, I'll tell you right now, there are
I thought
staff
you were through that.
that are
Oh, no,
probably
Allison-
emailing me now.
Sorry.
Does
thank
that
you,
start
sorry.
tomorrow?
You're correct.
When effective? I would say Monday.
I was gonna say Monday.
Monday, start on
Why
Monday?
not tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
it'd be tomorrow, I don't care.
Meet them tomorrow, they can do it when they want.
Are you saying start tomorrow?
But I don't care. I just said, you can let them know tomorrow. Start tomorrow if they want.
Okay,
But if nobody wants that, wants to wait till Monday, I don't care. I just said start.
right, okay.
Do you want to take another vote?
Do we need to do
I
that?
don't think we need a vote for that.
No.
I think the
No,
board
not
can
today.
direct staff, you can
Right.
start tomorrow.
Right.
They wanna
Effective
wait till Monday,
immediately.
they can.
Effective is- I will go ahead and put that in the motion, if that's okay with you all. We just add that as an addenda.
Yes.
Effective
Okay.
immediately.
Yeah.
And what does that mean for me?
Good job, Roger. Not Roger.
That's Luke.
Okay,
How are you? Now, as far as the little children are concerned, you're gonna love me, Anita, but I believe that our people can work this out. The 10 in a group thing, didn't that sound good? and to do it several times, to have masks available and encourage their wear. And if people choose not to, I'm not sure that there's anything we can do.
I disagree with putting a number down. What if you have 12 kids that show up?
Well, then you,
Depends upon your facility, whether you have a large room or a small room,
they have great judgment about
And,
that.
okay,
or
so,
no room at
But
all.
if you have 12 kids show up and breaking sex.
Yeah, but I
And
think
usually
that
when
was.
you have, Judy, usually when we have limits on something, we have people pre-register. So
Okay.
that we know we've got 12 kids coming,
And
and then we can
accommodate
make, yes,
12, yeah.
yes.
I feel like that's another thing that if they have to call and make an appointment to take their kids to story time, I feel like we have a big disassociation from our public.
From the goal.
I
I think people, they're like, well, we don't know what the rules are, so we're not gonna go. Well, it's not open on Monday. Well, it's open on Monday. It's not. I think the public has a big disassociation. They're unconnected from the libraries, and I think we're really struggling to get people to come back. Because there has been so much confusion about what's the rules, what's the.
Well, they changed so often throughout the pandemic
I know.
because of the pandemic.
And I feel like if someone's got to call and make an appointment, then they're not going to do it.
And that's not an unusual thing. In a lot of our branches, we've always had pre-registration, simply so to make sure that we don't get overrun with, we try not to turn anybody away, but because our rooms are of a certain size, and if we have 50 wanting to come to one story time and they don't want to break it up, then they find a larger room. It's just so that we know how many.
No, but
to
I
expect.
thought you guys had, at one time, were there not like preschools that came into the library for story time or, so, it's going to be hard for them to break their numbers down.
They usually come in separately from the normal, don't they?
Yeah.
I mean, they have their specific time they come in, and then the generic one is held at different.
I think Carlin has a really good point about people not coming back yet.
times.
Well, yeah.
And I really hope that we have some discussion about that. But on the other hand, this is a transition step. One of these days, we're going to have all 30 or all 25 of those kids. And if we can right now have them in groups of 10, it's much easier for someone to manage that group. And if you've never managed 3 and 4 year olds, you need, well, it's hard. And if you could do it that way and understand that one of these days, and we hope it's very soon, we'll be back to where we can take every child at one session or a large group. But
I just want to say, make sure we all understand, there are some branches that have space. They could accommodate more than 10.
yeah,
But that's okay, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
it is.
It would depend upon the branch and the branch manager's
Well,
determination on.
Yeah, could we leave that up to the branch manager to determine how many kids they felt like they could accommodate or? Right.
Make a motion.
I hate to make a hard number.
Right.
And like Judy said, then more could come. I want people to come back in the library. And so I think, that's just my opinion, I think if we leave it up to the branch managers to determine what is a safe number of children in their area, and we could have masks available but not require masks.
Is that a motion?
I make a motion.
I'll second
Third.
And the hand sanitizer will still continue to be there,
Yes,
right?
yes. Hand sanitizer,
Did you get
the,
Hold on.
the plexiglass
I didn't
will still
realize
stay
that
in
the motion
place.
was.
Well, I didn't either, but they suggest.
All right, now.
See if I remember what I said.
It's not an easy job.
Set the limit on the children they feel they can safely accommodate. We could have children's masks available, but not make it required.
Okay.
Okay. Jackie, I want you to know this is not my real job. You're doing fabulous. You're doing fabulous.
That's what I thought.
Okay. Judy Tyler, second. Okay.
Okay.
So I didn't.
Oh, I thought you
Was it
did.
Judy? Yeah. I did.
Georgia.
Georgia. Okay.
You won't be the secretary, don't worry.
You.
Okay. Now we take a roll, right?
Hmm?
All right. Fern Deathbridge,
Yes.
Judy Tyler,
Yes.
Georgia Jarman,
Yes, ma'am.
Allison Burton. Judy Walter,
Yes.
Carla Dillon,
Yes.
Ron McMullen,
Yes.
Patty Walker.
Yeah.
Okay, 8 days, 0 nays.
All right, we're up to new business. We need to,
Wait. Unfinished business. Are we still on that?
No, that's what.
No, that's what we
That's
just
what
got
it's
through.
done.
Okay, but I had a question about some unfinished business. When, Leighton, if you remember, Leighton was asking to expand their hours. And we said if they.
Yes.
Do we have any, a report if the
Yes.
board said yes?
That was the other thing, Scotty.
Okay.
Under discussion and announcements, we're gonna say that the Leighton board did approve the expanded hours. They will, pay for the electricity and utilities, all of that, for the expanded hours, and they have already started. They've been open one Saturday, and, they're gonna get the word out and they'll be used.
That's what I wanted. Thank you.
Okay, so first up, we, never discussed paid time off for our incoming director, so we need to approve the rate.
In your packet, I'm sorry, I didn't color code it, there's a white sheet, and it starts out section F personnel. At the very bottom of that, you're gonna see, paid time off. This is part of our leave policy, and so I made a copy of the entire part of the paid time off, in which on the back page, you should see a chart. This is what all employees are put to when, okay, there it is. Anyway, if you're scheduled for 20 hours per week, you can see the 3 steps of paid time off. You're scheduled 30 hours a week in the bottom if you're scheduled 40 hours per week. So the first 4 years, you would make 5.31 hours per pay period. Pay period is every 2 weeks. If you're here from 5 to 9 years, it's 6.69. If you're here for 10 years and more, you're at 8.31.
So can you translate that to us as far as 5.31 hours per, or 6.69 per pay period? How many weeks is that per year? How many
26,
days?
it's times 26.
What you're
26 pay
asking,
period.
I think I know what you're
26 pay period.
asking. It's just The 8.31 is just over 3 weeks total. You can only earn 240, if you're 40 hours, you can only earn a maximum of 240 hours, which is right at 4 weeks of paid time off. That's what you can accrue maximum. No?
What was that again?
I think so.
240 hours?
240 hours
6 weeks.
is 6 weeks?
Yeah, 6 weeks.
Are you looking for that 17 days, then it goes to 21 days, then 27?
Like in the old days, when you started a job and you got 3 weeks of paid vacation.
Yeah, so, step 0 is 17 days, step 2 is 21, then it goes to 27.
Say that again, 17.
17 days here, 21 days, and 27 days. And the 5.31, the 6 point, or the 8.3.
And you can accumulate 240 hours.
240 hours maximum. You stop earning when you hit that ceiling.
And it does carry over, so it's not like you use it a little bit every year like that, like, it does carry over.
Does paid time off encompass sick
Yes.
leave? Or is that?
It covers anything, sick, vacation, mental health day.
We need a lot of those.
Yeah,
That's very generous.
yes,
Well, not if you consider sick leave and vacation.
that's right.
17 days.
Actually, I was on the committee that made this change from the old way, like what Scotty was saying, because originally it was at the professional level, you got 6 weeks of vacation a year with no ceiling. So some people ran as much as 6 months of vacation and sick leave.
By some people, you mean you need it?
And you got that big checks back.
And you paid off some big checks to pay
Big
that
checks
off.
people left.
And so actually what the maximum now is less than what it was originally.
Well, yeah, but they can cure it up.
But if somebody leaves, we're only going to pay 160. So they can, the maximum is 240. But if you leave and you're over 160, you're only gonna get paid out for 160. If that's all you can, that's all we're gonna get. That's all we're gonna pay out.
You just can accumulate 240 hours, and then you have 240. But we're only gonna pay them 160.
Right. And so basically what happens is that a lot of people will
They
take
just
what's
take
called
it.
terminal leave. Well, in the military, it's called terminal.
So but there's no limit to how many hours they can bank?
So there is now.
240.
240 hours is your ceiling now,
Yeah, but it can carry over.
It'll carry over,
but
but
only 240. If I have 240 hours now, and then we roll it over to the next year, I can only get 240 hours. I'm not earning any more because I've hit my ceiling. So
That's reasonable, and that is common HR rule.
Okay. So it's not like you earn 240 this year,
No.
next, and that rolls over to next year you earn another
No,
240.
no.
Gotcha.
I've already been ruled.
And we've actually had people just recently who've lost PTO, which hurts me to my heart. Because they're at their maximum. I've had to dock myself. So it happens here. But you know, depending on what's going on, sometimes it's difficult to get away, so you can't take it.
So where do we want to put our income directly?
Where do we want to
She's
put
going
it?
to be, well, all of our full-time employees, which would be majority of the administrative staff, correct? Would be
well, yeah,
the 40 hour per week. So they'll get 531 first 4 years and then going up from there. What did you say the first one was?
5.31 a paycheck. You get 5.31.
Right, but how many?
Oh, that's 17 days.
17 days.
That's 2.5 weeks.
I don't feel that's enough
Now,
for a director.
that's what I thought.
Well, what's your suggestion?
Are we making you uncomfortable?
No, you're
Okay.
fine.
Tell us what you want.
We've been doing it a long time.
Yeah.
Well, okay, some historical background. When we hired Rochelle and we hired Tanya, we paid them pretty low, but we put them at the top of the vacation list. You're okay? Okay.
Thank you.
So, we're paying Jackie higher than we paid Tanya and Rochelle. I don't know.
It's only gonna be for the first year, right?
First 4.
The first 4 years?
Unless you all decide next year, that you want to increase it, but, I mean, depending on what you do today, but yeah, usually you have, your 5th year is when you get a bump.
Which is fairly generous because some places it's 10 years. I work for the state. Of course, I got more to start with. But by the time I got bumped up, I've been there for 10 years.
Karen, what are you thinking? You have a lot of HR background.
Well,
Sorry if I'm putting you on the spot.
I think this should have been decided before now, but I would say a minimum of 4 weeks.
I agree.
So are you saying don't use the chart?
No,
Or use the chart?
if you put her in the 4 weeks, if you put her in the last, the 10 plus years, at the
8.31.
that would give her up to 6 weeks, right?
Then give her 27 days.
So it's about 4 weeks.
I'm not sure. Can we violate our own policy here?
Exception.
I mean, I would like to see us do a little more, but our policy is kind of important.
But you have to consider when you're hiring for experience, you have to consider experience.
Yeah.
And it should be a separate contract.
It should, I agree.
I was gonna say, isn't this a contracted employment?
No.
No,
There's no contract.
Yeah.
there's no contract?
And that,
And there never has been.
Well, I'm not comforted by that. I mean, I'm really not. No offense.
the place I've ever worked, the executive director worked under a contract. So, I don't know.
Not at Trails.
Oh, we've had people that stayed forever too.
Yes.
Okay, so
Previously.
So we want to do, this is only 3 weeks if we go to the 10 plus years, correct? It's 27 days. What did you say?
5 business
It's
weeks.
almost,
5 business weeks. That's what you could say, like, you guys are doing 7 days. You only need
Yes.
5 days to get a business week, and that gives you the weekend.
That's the 40 hours.
So it starts out basically 3 weeks, and then goes to 4 weeks, and then goes to 5 weeks.
Okay.
So, and then you start at
3
3, you go to
weeks.
4, then you go.
so in the middle. And you carry over 6. Approximately 4 weeks.
Why don't we just go to the 8.31?
That'd be 5 weeks.
Remember, your jaw dropped when somebody came in here and said they had 6 weeks of leave. 6 weeks of vacation, paid vacation.
So my jaw dropped when we had to write a check to Irma Brown for like $50,000 and then turned right around and a similar amount to Susan Bonnet.
Understand what you're saying.
Yeah, it happened twice right in a row. That's where this came about. We realized that too many people had accumulated way too much time. I just made the
So it's
suggestion.
either 4 weeks or 6 weeks.
I just threw out the suggestion. I don't care.
Vern?
Well, like I say, I think since it includes sick time and everything, I think we should go with the 8.3.
I agree. I didn't realize it included sick
Sick
time
leave,
and all
too.
that other stuff.
Make a motion.
Make a motion, Vern.
Make a motion that the executive director accumulate PTO time at the rate of 8.31 per pay period.
I second.
Thank you.
Motion and a second. Can we have the roll call, please?
Okay. Vern Deathridge. Judy Tyler.
Yes.
Linda Jarman.
Yes.
Allison Burton.
Yeah.
Judy Walter.
Yes.
Carolyn Dillon.
Yes.
Ron McMullen.
Yes.
Patty Walker.
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
All right, next up is
No.
The 2022 draft budget.
It should be blue that was in your packet. Remember last month when I did the preliminary budget and I said, this went together way too easy and balanced way too easy?
We weren't.
Show of hands, who found the $14,220 boo-boo? Okay. There was a $14,000 boo-boo in receipts.
Oh, that's the worst place.
I know.
Yeah.
If you will notice, under receipts, grants originally was at $15,000, which is kind of normal what we do. But in expenses, we didn't have that much money going out in grants. We're actually going to have $2,550 going out in grants next year is what it looks like right now. So that caused me to make some adjustments. I did attend the Missouri Library Directors meeting in which the state librarian informed us that state aid right now will be funded at 100%, as well as the athletes and entertainers fund will be funded at 100%. So yay!
Great.
So what I did is I went back to the general ledger and looked at what we got in state aid this year total. That's what is in state, that's how I got that number. And what we got in the athletes and entertainers, I put that in. So I think both of those numbers are a little low. I'm hoping that the actual money we get is going to be a little more than this. Be awesome. Then I made the correction in grants. And I am flipping over to the individual one so we can kind of go, because I made some changes to accommodate for that over expenditure. And I just want to make sure that you all are aware of that.
Tell us where you are.
Okay. I am going to start at this first page that starts the number 6,500 AV materials.
Blue.
You need a blue, you're blue.
Oh, the
Yeah.
blue.
You're in blue, I'm sorry, I'm in
I'm
white.
sorry, I saw you hold up the white.
I'm sorry, yes, I should have put mine in blue. But the page I've turned to, Georgia, is the individual breakdown, yes.
Right. Thank you.
So down at 6526, grants, collections, and services, we have the LSTA grant at $650. What has been added, if you flip that page over, is we've gotten an ALA grant for Connected Live. Sarah Evans applied for that, and she's been notified that she's gotten it. So that's an additional 1,900.
Thank you, Sarah.
Yes.
You're welcome.
If we go down to 7,000, building and maintenance, the very last line right before the total, it now says replacement of one HVAC system. Originally, I had replacement of 2 HVAC systems at $10,000. That's where I got this year and last year, we have replaced 1 unit. I'm scared to death. One of these years, I'm going to have to replace 2 units. And
While we're in that, can I ask a question?
Sure.
The window cleaning, is that for all branches?
All branches.
Okay.
If I can get them to return my phone call to get them hired.
You won't be hired if they don't return it.
I
They may not have
know.
people to do it.
It'll be, but yes, that is for all the branches. Well, except for the branches that have teeny tiny windows that a window cleaner won't do. Gotcha. So anyway, that's where I cut $10,000 out of expenses. Nothing else has changed. And now I am at 70/45 membership dues. I've lowered that by removing Kyle Constance amounts. So you will notice from preliminary to this, that number has gotten smaller.
I had another question.
Uh-huh.
Under 7090 technology.
Oh, yes, you're jumping ahead of me.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Go ahead, ask your question.
The computers for 38,000. Do we know how many computers this is?
That would be a Roger or Luke. Roger, are you here?
I am here. If you can give me just a quick second, I can bring that up and look at, I have a breakdown of the specific numbers that I was going there. What I did is I based it off of a quote that I got from Infinitech, where I've been doing a lot of my buying of our tech equipment. They are actually able to get me better numbers than things we had done in the past. And I'm looking at about $900 per machine. We have not done any updating of machines in probably about the last 3 to 4 years. We've been, as the IT department, trying to just maintain what we had. That number there is taken into account that we need to start updating our public machines as well as our staff machines. So I estimated that, well, actually for the estimation for this, because I didn't know if numbers would go up, I priced them at $1,000 per machine, and that's 25 machines for $25,000. And I also priced 35 monitors at $300 a piece, because we have not updated monitors either. A lot of our monitors across all of the branches are not in good standing. They could do to have some nicer, bigger monitors for the public and the staff to use. That comes out at $10,500. And I actually had in there, put in for 4 laptops at $800 a piece for $3,200, giving us the $38,700. And the laptops there are for replacing things that we're using for our programmers. We did just do some new laptops for everybody across the board. Each branch got a new laptop to take out their oldest one, but we still do have some older laptops in the district that could potentially need to be looked at for this next year. So does that give you the information for the 38,000 you were needing?
Yes, the 25 that you said, are those desktops?
Yes, they're what are known by Dell as Optiplex. They're a bit of a smaller form factor. When you get ready to kind of walk away from the meeting tonight, if you go over to the Publix there in Warrensburg, you'll see them sitting on the desks. They're the small black computer. But yes, they are desktop computers.
Okay. And I was just wanting to make sure they were desktops. And you said, how many laptops did you say?
I did in the budget, 4 laptops at $800 with the anticipation that we might have some go out.
Okay, thank you.
But it's good to have it there in case they go, because we've got some really old ones. We took out the oldest ones we had, but we hadn't updated laptops for a very long time either. So like I said, every branch has one new laptop this last year, but I wanted to make sure I could address anything else that might come up.
Okay. Thank you.
You are welcome.
I had some questions, maybe we have anything on there. Membership fee for chambers? License on here?
Unless it's or not.
Oh, she knows she's a chamber, I always has anyway. She doesn't.
I don't know. Because normally what we try to do is pay for every town that has a chamber, we pay for the dues. And so I didn't catch that, so thank you, I put that in. Oh, Karen?
I think we paid for 2022 already. So
Oh, maybe we
may not.
That's not funny. That's what I'm
No, it would have been in last, it would have been, because there's like, weird time in the middle of the year. And so I do believe the weird, well, you know what? No, it probably should go in there. Never mind.
Well, I did,
Good catch,
so whatever.
that's why we do this.
I don't even know how much it is. You'll probably have to talk to.
I can give the chamber a call and I'm sure they will tell me.
Well, talk to what you,
No, I can ask Willa.
yeah, well, I don't know.
Yeah. So I'll make sure where we are, and I'm sorry, I'm glad you caught that.
I had one more question before we move forward. I'm backing up a little bit now.
Okay.
Under furniture and equipment, 7010.
7010, yes.
Under Warrensburg, we have a circulation desk. Is there something wrong with our circulation?
Yes. Our circulation desk is falling apart.
Is it? You wore it out.
Yeah.
They've circulated too much.
There it is. You can see right there, it's
yeah.
breaking off. The back side is falling apart and we're holding it together with duct tape. The flooring behind the circulation desk is a tripping hazard because there's rips in the carpet. So we want to redo that whole area, make it more functional and redo the flooring, take carpeting out and put flooring like you would find in a garage, in a home garage,
Yeah.
whatever that's called. Is that called?
Good stuff. Some good stuff.
It's where that's like an acrylic.
Yeah, it's really hard and
Yeah.
take up. So yes, that's what that's for.
Okay.
I need to ask the question. I know you're tired, probably all tired of this question, but our policy says that we have money in reserve
Yes.
that we do not spend. Can you, I'm sure it's in one of these bank accounts, I'm
Yes.
assuming. Can you tell me the percentage that you use? There are 2 in the policy. And if you don't know right off, if you can't remember, just send it out so we know. And could we see that separately in the account statement? How much money we have in reserve. In the event funding does not come through like we hope it does, then we have to have a certain amount of money in reserve to get us, to at least get us going in a minimal way. And so we always want to be sure we have that amount, that reserve account. That's my understanding of it anyway. Is that right?
Yes, yes, that is correct. We are, according to our policy, we are supposed to have some money set back in reserves. And I can't tell you off the top of my head what that percentage
There's a
is.
percentage range and I can't tell you either, but it'll.
So you want the percentage, and then you said you want to see it in.
When you have a listing of accounts, can you, under whichever account it's in, just designate an indent and let us know the reserve? Then my mind will be at ease.
I have another question. It's just stupid. But I noticed this under, now I'm lost again.
Find it.
Okay, under 7010 furniture and equipment,
Yes.
it lists chairs for Holden, things for Waverly, things for Warrensburg.
Yeah.
But molded stacking chairs for Porter are listed under building renovation and.
Well,
Is there
that
a reason?
shouldn't be under there. That should be under furniture and equipment.
Yeah, I just, like I said, it's kind of.
Yeah, let me move that.
I've also noticed that there is miscellaneous pretty much under every, is that just for overages or is miscellaneous an actual something that we spend money on?
No, remember I say I always figure expenses high, so that's where miscellaneous comes in.
Okay,
Yes.
I thought that's what it was, but I just want to clarify.
Yeah. It's my cushion,
Sure.
or not my cushion.
I just got a quick question.
Uh-huh.
It won't be long. Cleaning. Custodian or whatever, what you want to call them.
Uh-huh.
Lexington has lost theirs, right?
She has resigned, yes.
Yes,
And we have not hired a new one, but we are expecting to.
okay. I just didn't know whether it was going to expect you or what I'm going to do with it.
Well, if you want to go in and do it,
No, I
Ron, come on. Think how much money you're saving the library if you volunteer it late.
That brings up an interesting question. So Lexington's janitor resigned and it's going to be replaced, but Holden doesn't have a janitor at all. But they all have janitors.
No, they don't all have janitors. The only ones who have janitors is Warrensburg, Lexington, Odessa. Concordia still has their janitor. Knob shares a janitor with Warrensburg. Pardon me?
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I have a question regarding that. Are the janitors like 19-hour people or less?
They are less than 19, they are 10. An
Okay,
hour a
but
week.
We don't take their salaries out of personnel, take it out of,
No, we take their salaries out of salaries.
okay,
What's listed in here is like cleaning supplies.
yeah. I understand that.
Okay, so I'm going to say this. The only ones that don't have a janitor are Holden, Porter, and Waverly. So all the other branches that are the equivalent size of Holden has a janitor, but Holden doesn't. Why is that?
It's hard to find janitors that will clean the size spaces. And when Concordia's janitor resigns, that will probably, is the position that will probably not be replaced. Staff will take that over like they have done.
I'll be right on this.
when,
They probably only take about 30 minutes, 40 minutes probably to clean up the library.
I'm only saying for equity, I'm just saying for equity, and I feel like that if Holden doesn't need it, what is it?
That's how do you know we're here to represent all the libraries, not just one?
So I'm just saying that Holden, it seems like.
Holden used to have a janitor.
And Knob used to have one too.
and Knob is sharing
Sharing.
Orangeburg.
You say they're 10-hour positions a week? Is that a week or 2
That's a
weeks?
week. That's a week. They come in.
It would not take 10 hours to clean that library in a week. I'm telling you, it wouldn't.
None of that is boards. It should be up to the.
Shouldn't take that much, yeah, to the branch. I have a question under 20 or 70/30. There's unique services. I'm not aware of what unique services are.
Oh, library supplies. Unique is a jobber.
The what?
A jobber that we go through to buy,
It's
Oh,
the
good.
phone service.
I'm sorry?
It's the phone service for
Unique?
notifications. Yeah, for notifications.
Unique is under library supplies. It's a company that we buy books through. It's not Baker and Taylor that we buy most of our books through. It's it's a smaller company that we buy on things.
Anita,
Okay.
Anita, Unique is actually it's through Evergreen. That's why it's in that category, and that's who sends the notifications to patrons of their holds.
So we don't use Unique to buy. When I was in cataloging, we had a jobber called Unique that I bought.
No.
Nate
Comment.
Myrick is in the comments saying that Unique is used to send the phone notices through Evergreen. We pay them to provide those phone notifications. So in Evergreen, when there's a phone notification that's automated out, Unique is the company that does that. And that's what that line item is for.
Okay.
Maybe it was something for the deaf or.
Unique.
Oh, now, see, Judy, I misspoke there. Sorry. All right, we did used to have it. So it deals with the phone service.
Any other questions about the budget?
I just want to say that I appreciate being able to ask these questions and to have the staff respond and to have this conversation. I really do appreciate it.
I have one other question.
Okay.
I see, like salaries, 1,700,000. Is that, we're guesstimating that, right?
Right.
Especially with the new salary rate, which will be going into
Right.
effect. But is there anywhere where it's set, it's like a percentage of what we take in of our receipts, that we can only go over a certain amount?
The rule of thumb, and correct me if I'm wrong, Fern, the rule of thumb is salaries and benefits should be between 60 and 65% of your budget.
Ours is more, I think.
I haven't figured it out. I have added salaries, because I don't know what our new director would like to do with personnel. And so I want to give her some flexibility.
Well, I went through and totaled up all of my things. And salary, if you add salary, Social Security, their insurance, and their retirement, comes to $2,148,534. That leaves $1,500,000 $537, 226 left of our budget. So our salary and what we pay, Social Security and insurance and loggers is over half of our budget.
You said
It's 60 to 65.
60%.
It's like more like 65.
Yeah, it's around 65.
Now, and that is over, what I sent you, the most expensive option that I sent the finance committee on salaries is still below the 1,700. And that was the most expensive one. And the most expensive option, I went ahead and ran Social Security through that. It's still below what I have listed in the budget for Social Security. So we've got some good wiggle room in salaries as things happen. People leave, people come, all of that.
It's a living thing.
Yes. Always change.
Yeah.
Now, I do have another correction. I know Miss Judy Walter helped me find it.
Judy.
On the second page of the salary, not the salary, I'm sorry, the second page that has the big breakout, it's under collection and services. It says programming, $2,400. If you listen carefully, you will hear Sarah faint. It should be $24,000. $24,000 matches what the breakdown is. Anita left out a 0. So I will get that corrected.
Last time on the budget, when you increased the salary, you did not increase the Social Security payment.
That is correct.
Do that this time.
I did not, because when I ran Social Security at the highest rate, it's still under the 122,000. So I left it at 122.
Okay.
All right, any other budget questions? Moving on to.
We need to approve this budget so that we can pay July bills, but there will be some corrections. If you can approve it with the corrections in programming and the correction of adding Lexington's Chamber of Commerce.
All right, we'll take a motion to approve the budget.
Make a motion, we approve the preliminary budget,
Actually, the draft
the
budget.
draft budget, excuse me, and with the provisions of the changes that are being made and provide for a final budget after the beginning of the next one.
Yes, the final budget will be presented in August. And that's when we'll know exactly what our tax receipts will be, set our levy. Right. Did you get that?
I'm gonna have to listen to it again. How's that, Judy?
All right, we have a motion to approve the draft budget with corrections. Second,
I second.
Judy Tyler seconds. Any other discussion? Roll call vote.
Ern Deftridge,
Yes.
Judy Tyler,
Yes.
George Jarman. Yes. Allison Burton,
Yes.
Judy Walter,
Yes.
Carolyn Dillon,
Yes.
Ron McMullen,
Yes.
and Scotty Walker. EPA here.
All right. Last month I told you that Lori Johnson had to resign from the board. We do have an application here.
Scotty, excuse me.
Yes.
Next on the list was approval of the board meeting locations.
Oh, yeah, put my little mark there. Okay, so Anybody have any objection to the board meeting locations for the next
Why,
5 months?
why are we going to continue to meet at once?
One, because I threw it out there.
We're throwing it back.
Anita, and it's not for
Well, it's, and because this is a, for the streaming, this seems to be our best spot. Even when we tried the board meeting in the back area, we couldn't stream it very well. We are getting a lot of hits on our streaming, in our YouTube. So I went back there today and looked up from January to May, and we're getting over 100 views on all of our board meetings, except for May, we only had 59. We had, the top was 158 views, and that was the March board meeting. And so it looks like for transparency, our public is liking being able to do the board meeting. Now, we can send out the IT guys to test other locations to see if any other locations will let the streaming happen.
If I may, Nita, speak about the tech side of the meetings for your guys' input. My name, for those that may not know, since you can't see me, I'm Roger Dumas. I am the systems administration of IT here. And so part of what we are doing that you may not be aware of with Luke sitting behind you, we have put in so that in the past with social distancing and the need for Corona, the ability to be in a virtual meeting. So we've got some staff that are in it's called GoTo. For you guys, Zoom is probably the closest thing you can think of. It's like a Zoom meeting. But then we are live streaming that meeting straight over to YouTube. To do that requires bandwidth and a certain setup so that we can get the sound correct on that fancy phone that sits in the middle of you guys. The best spot that we have for bandwidth is the Warrensburg branch at this time. We did do increase to all of our bandwidth last year with MoreNet. All of those are not in yet. Some of our other branches are still waiting for those upgrades, but they're still just not at the same level as Warrensburg just because it is a bigger branch. The other thing that we have to figure out for you guys if we want to do the streaming like we are is how do we get the sound reception to be clear enough in the videos since we're not miking each and every one of you. And so far, that spot where you're sitting right now in Warrensburg, acoustically speaking, has been the best to pick up the sounds. As Anita pointed out, we did try to do a different corner of Warrensburg at one point, and we got so much other noise off the street and off of the echo of voices in the rooms. So as she said, we'd be more than welcome in the IT department to go do some testing in other branches for you. But as far as the streaming side of it goes, this has been the best we've been able to do without getting into some crazy budget to buy equipment to do it.
The other alternative is we could just go back to regular meetings.
How did it work in Nom Nostra?
I haven't streamed for Tom Noster. I think there are other branches that are still viable. I would just need to know ahead of time where you're gonna be. And then you might not also get to just say exactly where. Like, if I can have some say in where you sit, that can really help me acoustically. Like not the meeting room might be okay, but I don't know where you've been previously. Yeah, so I would have to basically go to each one, set up the same thing like we're at here, and walk. So it's basically just time. We have done the time here in Warrensburg already to figure out the location. If we want to do it in other places, it'll just be, man hours figuring out where.
And that is definitely something IT is willing and able to research into to see how that would work.
Well, we've done away with all the restrictions in every other aspect of our life. Why don't we just go back to regular meetings and quit the streaming?
We're getting a lot of people watching the streaming. I don't know.
Don't want to be a YouTube star?
I'm just saying that if we want to move, meet in other meetings, other places, we can just go back to our regular meetings. I mean,
Open them to the public.
if this is, yeah, exactly, absolutely. I mean, if this is the only place that we can get an ideal streaming situation, we don't have to stream. We can go back to open public meetings.
How about voting? Does it have to be one or the other?
But if you can't get reception in other places,
I didn't say it's impossible, I said it would take Dan time to figure out where, right?
there's other things I'd rather spend money on than trying to find the ideal spot in the building to have a stream meeting.
If I may speak, I have people talking to me about the board meetings all the time who are listening to them. Some of them cannot make it to the meetings, and sometimes they like the idea of being able to watch them the next day, the day after. And so I think that, especially, and these are our patrons, and so I think they want to know what's going on. But this is Wednesday night, this is church night. So there are people who won't be able to come. And so I think to have that for our patrons, it is just another service to provide for them.
That being the case, then I think we should just keep meeting right here because we have the ideal location.
And we used to. I mean,
Yeah, we used to always
to
meet
always meet
in
in the
that's right.
Lawrenceburg because all the files are here
Administration's
and
here.
administration's
Well,
here and I can remote into my computer.
It's nice to go to the other locations and see what we've done or what we haven't done or what needs to be done in order to make it more friendly and welcoming to our patrons.
I like Judy's point, and I like the fact that we know we can meet here and that it suits our situation. So I'm wondering if we can't have a motion. I move that we approve the July through November schedule, meeting here in Warrensburg and giving IT people time. We know that there are going to be other branches that we'll be working with and see where we stand in November, and hopefully get to the other branches. That sounds like feasible to me.
I have a motion to approve the,
I think Luke has something, you know.
Does that include letting public back?
I'm sorry.
Does that include letting public back? Is that just for the streaming or is that, are they gonna be moving it all?
That is continuing as we are right here.
Okay.
Through November, and then we
This year.
evaluate. Is that,
I was just asking. for
Sure, no,
curiosity.
I just wanna know if
To me, it doesn't
I'm-
really matter. Yeah, I can make it.
yeah, if I'm understanding where we are.
Yeah, I just need to know if we need to have other seating for, you know, I also said.
Second that move.
all right, we have a motion and a second. There's no other discussion, we'll have a roll call vote.
I do want to point out that the August 25th meeting is the fourth Wednesday, not the third. All the others are the third. And that's because when we get the information from the state auditor and all that, where we can set our levy, that's when we set our levy, and they don't get it to us early.
Okay.
So I just want to make sure everyone understood that.
Drew Dethridge,
Yes,
Judy Tyler,
Yes,
Georgia Jarman,
Yes.
Allison Burke.
Yeah.
Walker,
Yes.
Harlan Dillon,
Yes.
Ron McMillan,
Yes.
Buddy Walker.
Yes.
That is 8 yeas, 0 nays.
Okay, next up is to discuss the open seat in Johnson County. We do have two people who have expressed an interest in that seat. And I don't know if anyone else knows Are there any outstanding applications anyone knows of?
I do want to let you all know that this, Jonna Brookshire, I got the application today. She then stopped by the office to introduce herself, put a face with the name, and she and I sat and chatted quite a while in my office. And she does have librarians in her life. So she's familiar with libraries, and she's a library user too. Becky Clear, who is the next one, she's from Leeton. She and her husband own the restaurant there. And she has been an employee at Trails working here in Warrensburg. Did story times for us and all of that. So both are young women. So
I'll take that as a compliment, seeing that Becky and I are the same age.
Yeah.
yes, we are young women. Everybody's older than I am.
You just don't see it, Carlin.
Okay, Janet is a young woman, and Becky now has the Anita Love Voodoo doll. You called me.
I think both of them sound good.
Yeah.
Should be left up to Johnson County members, what they, what you.
Wouldn't that be nice? I like Janet Brookshire, and I like her for a couple of reasons. Her passion and interest in developing services, helping develop services for young people, I thought was good. Both of them talked about the survival of the library service. And she's had a lot of work with international students. And another reason that I would promote her is we do not have anybody from Warrensburg on this board. It's our largest branch.
We picked Lori because she was representing Lee. So I know we're not supposed to represent a specific area, but it's kind of nice to have input from different areas.
It is.
And I can tell you with the new school librarian, the communication between administration and school library is markedly better. She is constantly emailing and asking good questions and coming up with great ideas. And so that has been a really nice change.
Because Leeton is one of our smaller branches, I guess. It's our smallest branch, so I kind of feel like they
Need help?
well, no, that they like to maybe feel like they have a voice in decisions.
You said they were both young, but I think Jana's discriminating against the old folks. Small print she used.
Oh. She was trying to get it all on one page.
Well, I'm sorry. Especially when you're blind in one eye, can't see out of the other.
Guys just don't have long enough arms.
There you go. It's got nothing to do with the body.
Apparently you need your glasses changed.
I do, I'm working on it, I'm working on it.
Clear as day out here.
But other than that, they both seem qualified. I don't.
Well, from an HR standpoint and just from looking over the applications, I would have probably gone with Jana Brookshire.
Rebecca was a former Charles employee.
Right.
Yeah. The only reason why she left was she and her husband started a new business together.
Not sure we can go wrong.
Yeah, I don't. By the same token, Warrensburg's not represented either, so.
What's that?
So by the same token, Warrensburg is not represented really on the board either, so it doesn't really matter.
It has been represented several times and they never stay.
Yeah, that's true too.
Went from feast to famine there.
I would say at one time, Connolly, or Dallas County, Connolly, Warrensburg. I'll go with whatever.
Just need one, right?
Yeah.
So nominate one, let's get up in election.
Take a motion.
I'm like, county, so I don't feel like that's fair.
Oh, we can blame you because you're. Right.
So does anybody from Johnson County know either one of them?
I don't.
I don't know either one of them.
Becky, Rebecca, I thought her name was Becky. Right?
Yes, she goes.
Okay. But she came in, and I don't know if anybody remembers it, but she did address the board maybe about a year ago.
I Concordia.
Thank Concordia, yeah. I don't remember what she addressed the board about though.
Oh, is she an author? An author?
No, that was somebody else. She came in,
It was closed session.
it was in closed session, and I don't remember what the issue was, so.
It doesn't really matter to me one way or the other.
We'll just make a nomination and we'll vote on
I don't want to choose. Okay, I'll make a motion that we accept Jana Brookshire's application.
I'll second.
it. Motion and a second. Roll call vote.
Give me just one sec.
There's no reasoning behind
Okay. Vern Jeffers,
Yes.
Vicky Tyler. Yes. Georgia Jarman. Yes. Allison Burton.
Yes.
Judy Walter.
Yes.
Carlin Jones.
it. Yes.
Ron McMillan.
Yes.
Scotty Walker.
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Would it be appropriate if we contacted Rebecca and asked her to take the foundation position?
Does it have to be a board?
No.
That's a-
No,
no. Foundation is a board
that's a good
decision.
idea.
Yeah, that would be,
That's a great idea.
Under unfinished
So,
business
unfinished
B.
business,
Mhm.
okay, and I'll just put,
What you can do is in your minutes is we've gone back to unfinished business B.
okay. How I'm.
Oh, you're gonna be fine.
Okay, unfinished business, here we are. Okay, so we can.
can we put that on hold until after election of officers? let's go ahead and put that on hold until we have election of officers.
Hear that? Put that on hold.
Okay, so I will get the letter written and I'll have to have another board member sign it and then we'll get it done to the commissioners. And can I just get with you or Georgia or Carlin? You just come by and sign the letter for me? Okay. Or should we have somebody from Lafayette County?
They normally come from the county, I mean, whoever signs it is from.
Well, I didn't know if we wanted to have, or if just two board members signing.
I think before it had been you two, right?
Yeah, before, then you and me.
Yeah,
President and vice president.
okay. Okay, I'll just send you that.
Yeah, send it to me.
Okay. Okay, so election of officers.
Everybody say one time. I'm nominating Scotty to remain president.
Where's that voodoo doll?
Ever heard of a damn it all? I'll second that nomination.
Or are we gonna,
Are we
are
gonna
we
do
gonna do
a
it as a slate or are we gonna do?
Do a slate.
Last time, I think, had the nomination.
Right.
As a slate.
Right, did a slate of officers.
I, you know, I cancel that. I'll make a motion, all the officers are still the same, will be there for next year.
You think of Judy.
I'll second.
Okay.
So do y'all know who we are?
Nobody else wants to step in?
Right?
Say they want to be, no. Say they want to be president? Ready?
Ron, you want?
No, I want you to be president.
Sure, here.
Well, Cheryl's my wife. was for a while.
It's a,
You're doing a great job, so I want you to be there.
Judy?
They look at me. Oh, I would love to.
We already got a motion in a second.
Yeah.
We need to vote on it.
We're having discussion.
Why are you looking at me to second it?
No, I just want to give you some chance.
Well, I've only got a year left. So this,
It's just a year.
right, that's all I've got left on my term. So it'd be silly for me to change now.
Okay.
So you're saying we should start training someone new?
Somebody else wants to, somebody, came in today and discussed a bunch of things with, the staff and said, you really look at this thing, don't you? And I said, every time. And I know some of you were here 2 years ago and I was raising all kinds of things about not getting the report that we get on Monday from Aaron now on the checks. You're expecting us to come in and sign, dumb and happy.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Take a roll call vote.
Vern Guthrie,
Yes.
Judy Tyler,
Yes.
Georgia Jarman,
Yes.
Allison Burton,
Yes.
Judy Walter,
Yes.
Carolyn Dillon,
Yes.
Ron McCollum,
Yes.
Scotty Walker.
Yes. Okay, so now we can go back. Thank you, Judy. Thank you, Ron. Thank you, Judy.
So does that mean, Scotty, you only have a year left too?
2 years.
Thank you. has 2 years too.
I thought Judy had two.
You and I go out.
Well,
Yeah,
let
we all
me
three got
see.
you, me, and Scotty.
2023.
You can't. up
Oh,
for
I was
another
thinking
term.
we were in 22, fiscal year 20.
Yeah. Your second term ends June 30th of 2023. So,
Well, you know, you guys tried to kick me out earlier, Scotty and I.
Did we did I re-up?
Huh?
Did I re-up? Was I supposed to get a letter from the commissioners, or was it just, you just run it back through?
We don't do that.
Dang it. I bribed him.
From the commissioners, it was
yeah,
after.
they have to reappoint her.
Yeah.
So you need to write a letter for her.
I got the letter.
Yeah, tell them that, you know, you were coming back on.
I think it was the day after our meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you'll have to,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Write a letter.
because mine's up,
And tell them that you're.
Is it this year,
Yeah,
June?
Yeah, next month, you're doing the start. July, so I'll get a letter written for you also.
I think mine is too. I think it said that on the line.
because I was fulfilling someone else's
Me
term.
too.
Yeah, both are.
And then this will be my first.
Now, according to my list, first term expires June, this is for Georgia, June 30th of 2024.
Oh.
So you must have come in on somebody, you know.
I did.
Now mine expires June 30th, 2021.
On the website, it said, I thought it said this year. Okay, thanks for checking.
You're gonna re-up? Was that some?
Well,
Carlin is,
unless my bribe goes through and they kick me out.
No, but does there have to be,
I think we vote to get.
we have to
get
vote to keep her on, because she's gonna be off.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
point,
I move it.
okay.
I move to Carlin, we finish the board for the next 4 years.
well,
Then
where
we
did they
did
put that?
Uh,
Because it wasn't on the agenda, where will we put that?
So we did that last,
I think we did that last
we did
week.
Yeah, I thought we did too.
yeah, I asked Carlin if she wanted to stay and she,
Oh.
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think it's already been done, I thought.
You'll have to send a letter
I'll
to
send a
the,
letter, just so there's no confusion.
I was gonna say, because if you're gonna send one for this, you're gonna have to
Yeah.
send one for me too.
Okay. All right, so now we can go back to the foundation for Becky Claire.
We will.
Do we know she'll take, is she would?
We
want-
don't. We said we
Ask her.
don't.
I mean, that's our first.
Since it's not on the agenda, does it have to be on the agenda? Do we vote? Could you talk with her
Yeah.
and then put it on next time?
Yeah.
Yeah, and she wants it to be voted for.
She would
And
consider
see if
it.
she would do it? Yeah.
Actually, it does say Johnson County Representative for Foundation Board, it's under unfinished business.
Oh, does it?
She hasn't.
Sorry.
She's never contact, you're right, so she has to be contacted.
It must have been small print too.
I will give her a call and then I'll just email everybody, let them know what she says.
Are you sure?
I'm not sure what.
You'll do that.
I positively will,
Okay.
the day before the next meeting. Any discussion or announcements?
Why, yes.
Okay,
I want to report to you, next week, Thursday, we are scheduled for a board retreat with Orange Boy. Clark Swanson is to come in and meet with us. However, there has been a conflict, in his schedule. He cannot be here in person. He gave me two options that we could do. One is he could present digitally on the 24th of June, which is where we've already got him scheduled, with a second session where he would come in person to meet with you and walk you through the strategic plan. We could do that, or we could just reschedule and do an in-person at another time, not the 24th.
I suggest we do the in-person reschedule.
Yes. Don't need to devote any more time to it.
Do you want to look at a time to reschedule? Do you want to wait and reschedule it after, I don't know, July 19th?
That sounds really good.
I was thinking July 1st of 2023.
July 1st of 2020.
I think we should wait till a new director is here.
That's July 19th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
How much longer are we under contract with Orange Point?
I believe another year.
I'm just
I think they're very expensive.
concerned that, we made an appointment with him a couple of weeks ago, and then he's just backing out.
Paid them a lot of money.
That's right. We paid him a lot of money.
This is his last chance.
I say we reschedule after July 19th. Anybody
I
else?
can contact him and see what his schedule is, and then, Scotty, do you want me to email to the whole board what his dates are?
Yeah, please.
Okay. After July.
Do you know, how much work has he already done?
I don't know. I can't say. I know they have done staff surveys. I know they have gone out to our high users. Then they were reaching out with surveys to,
Did all the board members fill out a survey? Okay.
yeah, because he did a survey with the board. And then our stakeholders, they may not be using us, but they are, but they're stakeholders in our two counties.
Email them
So they were working on getting that pulled.
for last.
So he's looking at a really broad base of different people throughout both counties.
So that you hear right that some of you didn't get a survey?
I didn't,
Okay, 'cause it came in the mail.
well, was it supposed to be that he
Mine was email.
chose that wasn't all, it was supposed to be the whole board, just random?
I just assumed it was all the board.
I
This
thought
is
Lauren-
Sarah. I
Huh?
I emailed each member directly with that survey.
Yeah, I got.
When did
mine
you
came
do
in-
that?
I, no.
Sarah, when did you do that?
That's been a few months ago now.
It was, Tanya was still here,
Yeah.
because Tanya brought it up in the board meeting and said, you all will be getting an
Oh, I
email
remember
for a
that.
survey and be sure and fill it out and send it back. And I think I got mine like the next week, maybe.
Unless it somehow went to under citizens, they can send certain emails and they do. Because I did not get
Let's
one.
all look back and
I can't
see.
fine.
I don't know if mine's still on there. I
Look it
don't-
up and I've forgotten it.
Okay.
I got mine.
See me like I got one after that.
Any other announcements?
Yes. Some of you or all of you may have heard about our Odessa building. We shut it down last Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and this past Monday. There was an odd smell in the building on Wednesday that was causing staff and patrons to cough and or sneeze. And so our facilities technician, Billy Stone, went up to see what could be causing this, AC problems. He walked into the building and within 10 minutes was also coughing. So we evacuated the building on Wednesday, closed it down. I contacted New Environmental Concepts, who has worked for us before in testing for asbestos, testing. They did a lot for the Noster when we moved into the new building. Anyway, he came, met with Billy and I on Friday, and he said, it sounds all in the world like the air conditioning units are pulling in something from outside into the building. It built up in there to where it then started bothering people in the building. So he directed us to go up on Monday, this past Monday, open the building, step slightly inside and see if you still smell it. If you don't smell it, then probably it was something outside the building that got sucked in and we're good to go. And we sent Billy up, he volunteered, there you go. And Luke went.
It said Luke.
To drag Billy out if Billy was overcome. Anyway, there was no smell. Billy then walked all through the branch looking for mold, mildew, anything that would cause the smell. He couldn't find anything. He was in the building for over 20 minutes, never needed to cough, didn't have a tickle in his throat. Luke didn't either. So then that was Monday, Tuesday, we opened back up to the public. After I had reached out to legal counsel to make sure it's okay because we don't know what it was. We do not know what it was. I did call the Odessan to let them know that we had this issue, if they wanted to put something in the paper, or if they got calls. And the woman I was speaking to, Hannah Spar, said that she was standing outside with someone else a while back, and all of a sudden the wind kind of kicked up and they started coughing. And they were like, we don't know what it was. It didn't feel like dust hit them in the face or anything, but it's a weird thing that I hope never happens again. Staff was offered to work in other branches or use their PTO when we had the Odessa branch closed. They all opted to use PTO and take some time off. So that's what they did. So we're back open, and I checked every day with staff and everything is going fine.
Good.
Okay, I'm done.
You're done?
I think so.
Okay.
Have you had any luck in finding more, hiring someone new in Knob Noster? Have you had anyone apply or?
Yes, actually, we have moved Jacqueline Roselle, who was 40 hours in Lexington, said she would love to work in Knob
I was
Noster.
gonna say, why was she driving all that way to Lexington and?
Because there was no 40-hour position in Knob.
Ah,
Yeah. So she is in Knob. So now I need to fill Lexington's position. And then because of Odessa, I haven't gotten Holden yet, but Holden had 2 people say they were interested. And then I will also have to work on Concordia then. We'll probably have to hire outside for
We also need another person in Knob,
part-time.
part-time person in Knob, because other part-time position we had, but
Okay, so I get the last word. Allison, have something for you? I don't remember how long you've been on the board. I do remember your first meeting was at Knob Noster, and I think there was a bunch of people there that night.
Yes.
But we want to give you this gift, and thank you for serving on the board and completing the whole term.
Changed my mind.
We would love for you to.
That was really easy.
You got me to open it now,
no, if you want.
if you want. Yes,
Okay.
you know, it's the peanuts and confetti.
And we didn't have a lot of time, Allison, to do what we usually do, which, but we wanted to give you something that was useful and would make you think of us.
Probably a book.
it's a mug.
Oh, it's got your name on it.
Nice, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Well, we sure appreciate you being on the board, and good luck to you in the future.
Although we haven't heard her voice until tonight.
Not to absorb it.
So I will adjourn the meeting. See you next month.